Hey, it's James. It's about 5 a.m. or so in Houston, getting ready to get on a plane for San Francisco and then from there to Shanghai, where I'll take a train to go and sign off on the production of the left front fenders. So let's see how this goes. On the bullet train headed to the town where the fender factory is. I'll be meeting somebody a couple of stops down from the factory, and we'll go over to the factory today and get a game plan for Saturday and next week. I'll keep you posted. The left fender is a big project for classic DeLorean, and that's the reason I'm here at the factory, to approve each step of the manufacturing process from start to finish and sign off on the production run. This is my first time coming to the factory, but I gotta say it's impressive. The place is huge. They manufacture everything from aftermarket repair panels, not for just Chinese market cars and trucks, but American, Japanese, Korean, European too. They're even making complete replacement bodies for classic Land Cruisers, Defenders, and Broncos as well. Getting the die set up for volume production took some time today. There were problems with tearing that don't normally happen with mild steel parts, and that required some adjustments at the start, as well as extra cleaning of the blanks and the dies for each stamping. Every step of the stamping process, from how the blanks were loaded and positioned on the die to the type of lubricant used and the decision to use the bubble wrap between each part, all required extra care to avoid damage that again is less of a concern with mild steel parts that will eventually be e-coated, primed, and painted, as opposed to our stainless parts that will likely never be painted, and after blending, which we're doing in Texas, will be the finished product everyone sees. I'm here at the factory today where they're stamping the fenders. That press right behind us is the one that's doing it. That stack of bubble wrap is what's going between each one as they're making them to keep them from getting incidental damage as we're moving them from station to station, from pressing to laser cutting, back for more pressing and then more laser cutting. Yeah, that's the noise it makes when it's doing it. Well, at some point today in the factory, I lost my wedding ring. I was hoping with the parts that are all lubed up, so for the stamping process, it must have slipped off. A 1,000,000 square foot factory. I think the odds of finding it are pretty slim, but we'll see what happens. Lots of the parts made here are low volume, so laser cutting, even though it takes longer, is more economical than a piercing die, which was what was used on the original parts back in 1981. The first stamping operations completed, and the flat sheets have now been formed into a recognizable fender. The first laser cutting step here is trimming off the excess, which will get recycled by the supplier, and as part of this process, some of the mounting holes and side marker openings will be cut out. We'll speed this up for the final video, but the total time from laying the stamped part on the jig to taking it off this step is about 2.5 to 3 minutes. Like the stamping process, each fender is protected with a sheet of bubble wrap between each part to protect them between steps. scooped up some of the cutouts from this process, the side markers and the mounting holes, to bring back with me and hopefully be able to include them with the fenders that have been pre-ordered. I keep thinking, that I never thought I would ever see the left fender get reproduced, and this just blows my mind to see this happening here like this. Now that the first round of laser cutting is completed, we're back in the stamping area to add the mounting flanges. The earlier die has been swapped out for a different one that will form the flanges across the bottom and rear edge of the fender. It's still critical that the dies are again cleaned in between each stamping, and lubricants used here too as part of this process. After the flange stamping process is complete, fenders are again stacked with the protective bubble wrap between each part, and they'll be moved to another part of the factory where the top flange will be formed using a different, smaller stamping press. So, the day before yesterday, my wedding ring slipped off somewhere here in the factory, and I figured it'd gotten kicked under one of these racks someplace and was gone. Turns out it came off while I was helping stack the fenders, and today one of the women working here found it bearing amongst them. Another great experience on this trip, man. It just keeps getting better and better as we get closer to the end. So you can see in the circled area here on the video that the top flange is not yet formed on the fender. It's still straight off the top edge of the part. The smaller stamping press has a die that will form the top flange along with the relief notches, as well as the top, front, and rear contours of the fender. After this, and on this same press but with a different die, an additional stamping process will add the omega-shaped recesses where the mounting holes will be laser cut in the next manufacturing operation. All these are bubble wrapped, soon to be completed left front fenders. They've just been through the third of what I believe is going to be 4 stamping processes. Yesterday they were putting the flanges on the ends, like here, and the bottom there, and over on the other end. Today what they did was this was flat straight out, and now they've put that angle in it and those indentations right there. And then the next step after this will be putting what they call the omegas. And it's a thing that looks like the omega symbol, and it's that depressed area that the mounting holes will get laser cut in after that. So I've made good progress today, and we'll see what happens tomorrow, but everything's looking really good. After those last 2 sets of stamping for the top flange and other details, we're headed back to the laser cutter for the final mounting holes across the top flange. This is much quicker than the earlier laser cutting process, with this one taking only about 30 seconds or so. Looks like we'll wrap up this part of production today, leaving just a final bit of handwork on each part to be completed tomorrow. The final step in the manufacturing process is the hand finishing work seen happening here. Knocking down some of the hard corners and burrs from the laser cutting process is an important step and allows for another set of eyes to look at each part before it heads off for final packaging. We got all the fenders signed off on, they're all boxed up. They go in a shipping container later this week and get put on a boat coming to Texas. I'm still in China at the moment, getting ready to take off. 11.5-hour flight to San Francisco, 5-hour layover, and another 3.5 or so hour flight, maybe more, to Houston. I'm not going to work on Wednesday, so we're going to be sleeping late. But anyway, it was a good trip. The fenders came out great. I think everybody's going to love them. And we did it.